The COVID-19 vaccine is already in Tennessee, and next comes distribution.
Right now, the state's plan does not include teachers in the first group to receive the vaccine. Aaron Cooper joins us now live this morning with how educators really feel about this. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning. Well, the Professional Educators of Tennessee, an advocacy group, recently released results from a survey that showed that 33% of those who responded said that they would volunteer to get a vaccine. Now, you may find it surprising that educators are not in any portion of the first round of vaccine plans, considering Governor Lee approved classifying teachers as essential workers back in August. In fact, Hamilton County Schools just reworded its essential worker policy after pushback from teachers, now clarifying that teachers are not included in the policy that allows an asymptomatic negative testing central office or vital maintenance staff person to keep working if they've been exposed to COVID-19. Right now, school staff and children aren't listed to have vaccination eligibility until phases 2 and 3 in Tennessee, but Dr. James Hildreth with Nashville's Meharry Medical College, who sat on the FDA board last week, is pushing for teachers to be part of phase 1 in order to get back to a new normal in the classroom.
The most vulnerable populations in school buildings are not the children, clearly. It's the adults, many of whom have underlying conditions. I do think that if we can demonstrate the safety and efficacy of the vaccine to everyone's satisfaction, I believe people will want to get it.
As expected, healthcare workers and those in long-term care facilities will be in the first 3 subsets of the phase 1 to get that vaccine.
Tonight, Rutherford County's education community is mourning the death of longtime teacher David Picklesmeyer, who died over the weekend from COVID-19. Fox 17 News' Kathleen Cerise now live in Nashville after talking with relatives and other teachers about the impact of his passing.
Well, family members described Mr. David Picklesmeyer as an incredibly caring, thoughtful, family-oriented guy who just had such a huge impact on so many children that he taught over the years. Unfortunately, now he joins the more than 5,500 Tennesseans who have lost their lives to COVID-19.
David Picklesmeyer taught digital arts and communication at Siegel High School. He was with Rutherford County Schools for more than 21 years. Though he didn't want to go on camera, his brother, Mike Picklesmeyer, says David always put his students above himself, especially this year when he returned to the classroom during the pandemic. He passed away from COVID-19 yesterday morning after being in the Vanderbilt ICU here in Nashville. An RCS spokesperson says it's not clear where Picklesmeyer got the virus, but his brother says David was very careful and the family didn't know where he could have gotten it except at school. Siegel High School had closed from December 3rd through last Friday due to an increasing number of students and staff quarantining, and they just reopened today. According to the state's latest numbers, there were 81 new student cases and 51 new staff cases in Rutherford County Schools just last week. Here's Executive Director of the Professional Educators of Tennessee, J.C. Bowman.
It's incredibly sad for his family, for the community, and I think that the lesson learned quickly here is that our educators are going above and beyond the call of duty to educate children.
Despite some health complications, his brother tells Fox 17 News David was perfectly healthy before this virus. Bowman says Picklesmeyer's death could impact the education system here in Tennessee.
I think people are going to question whether they want to continue teaching, whether it's a field that they want to go into. I think it's going to have an impact. I think the school board in Rutherford County is going to have to make some tough decisions.
We reached out to Governor Lee's office to ask if his death will change how schools are operating during the pandemic, but we never got a response back.
Services for this teacher will be held this upcoming Wednesday. We'll have more information on that under this story at fox17.com.
Continuing coverage now on the murder of Nashville nurse Caitlin Kaufman. Records show the 21-year-old man charged in this case has a long and violent criminal history, which includes attempted murder a few years ago when he was still a teenager. So why didn't this guy go to jail? Why didn't he do hard time? Fox 17 News' Nikki Jenowitz pressing for answers. She's live now outside Metro's Juvenile Justice Center downtown with the latest.
Yes, Scott, it's a question that many people here in this community are asking tonight. Given his record of violence, how was Devontae Hill even free in the first place? Well, the system he went through was designed to prevent it, but it's not foolproof, and the juvenile justice system cannot predict behavior.
Court records show the man accused of gunning down a Nashville nurse on I-440 is no stranger to the criminal justice system. Back in 2016, a teenage Devontae Hill shot at his family members because he was upset about going to school. The incident landed him with attempted homicide charges, a felony offense later downgraded to aggravated assault. While this is considered one of the most serious crimes a juvenile can commit, the DA's office never requested Hill be transferred to adult court. Instead, Hill went into state custody at the Department of Children's Services, the highest punishment a child can receive in the juvenile system. Well, some might say that isn't harsh enough, and he deserved to go to prison. These defense attorneys suggest otherwise.
Anyone who ever is locked up for anything eventually gets out. So, in hindsight, it's always 20/20. The juvenile system probably thought correctly that it was better to try to work with him down there as a juvenile as opposed to transferring to criminal court where he's going to get probation in the criminal system. So I don't know that we can second guess that too much.
Putting a child directly into the adult system, that usually means lifelong consequences, no matter how long that prison sentence is. But because if you go into custody at that young, it's going to be very difficult to bounce back.
Juvenile court judge Sheila Calloway echoing that sentiment in a statement to Fox 17 News, saying research shows the most effective way for youth to become safe and productive members of our community is with evidence-based treatment programs and interventions. The DA's office wouldn't tell us why they did not request Hill be moved to adult court back in 2016, saying that charge will likely factor into this case and they can't comment.
And Hill is going to make his first court appearance tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Fox 17 News will be there and will bring you the very latest.